building. We'll come back to that later. Right, what I want to do now is talk about the last thing, which is the power of the state. One of the things that I like here, it was a common punishment in Imperial China, said O'Brien, as didactically as ever. Does anyone know what didactics is?
Teaching?
Yeah, exactly, right? So he's the one who's teaching him, educating him, calm, right? He's telling him a nice historical fact as the rats are about to gnaw his way through his own face, right? Not a nice situation. So that's something we're definitely going to comment on, especially the word didactically. I'm going to come back then as well, and I'm going to look at this one. When he falls through the building, the chair, falling through the floor, through the walls of the building, through the earth, through the oceans, through the atmosphere, very long sentence, we're going to comment on that. It goes away, it's about space and into the gulf between the stars, away, 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 away from the rats. What a relief.
Yeah.
We share that relief as readers. We become implicit, right, with what he's doing. So, complicit rather. So, and that repetition there. What I'd like to go through is how quick. We've got the exclamation marks here, so I'm just adding the notes as I go. And also we've got the idea of space, which is away. We've got the idea of away, away, away from the rats. This is about escaping fears. And then what we've got is, but O'Brien was still standing by his side, in space, by the stars, surrounded by nothingness. Who's the only person that's there?
O'Brien.
O'Brien, like God. Okay? This is where it links into power. So, bang, we're coming back from God, we've got power, godlike. We already know this, don't we, higher level, right? From looking at our rhombus, okay? Power, godlike, as didactically as ever. So he, didactically as ever, is truth, and he's the teacher. Okay, right. Finally then, let's just finish off. There was a cold touch of the wire against his cheek, but through the darkness enveloped him, he heard another metallic click and knew that the cage door had clicked shut and not open. And then we all go, right? So I want to put a little something in there about we share the relief. Right, so have we answered the questions? Remember, these are guiding, you don't have to answer them, but they're a nice start. So have we talked about terror? In our first thing, yes. Wright uses language to develop essential ideas. Yeah, we talked about essential ideas, power, totalitarianism, and control through fear, the loss of the individual, all right? We've already mentioned context, we don't have to go back there again. Right, now, I've got 4 minutes to write this out, okay?
I think you have 1 minute.
Right, not according to that.
No,
right.
That's you have like 6 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Right, that's good. So, we can do this in detail. So, let's think about the most logical way. Now, have I gone through this chronologically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, I have, but am I going to put my answer chronologically?
No.
No, I'm going to do it thematically. Now, it just so happens that the most logical way to talk about the themes is the way that's on the paper. It might not be. I might have to start down here and go up there and then go to the middle. Doesn't matter, right? But I'm going to jump around. I'm not going to give a line-by-line analysis. All right, that's not what I'm going to do. As you can see as well, my last section jumps between the two. So the first thing I'm going to talk about then is this fear. Why is the fear? How does that Winter state wins over Winston? How does that link back? How does that link back to the main argument?
It's a form of social control.
Exactly. So I'm going to talk about social control. Then I'm going to go down my list. What's the best thing to talk about first? Do we think the animalistic thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the animalistic.
Imagine.
Well, that relates also to like the loss of the individual, right? Because he's no longer himself in that moment.
It does, doesn't it? Right?
Maybe it's the
Or
last point.
dehumanization,
Ruling instinct.
Yeah. So maybe if we go from animalistic to the juxtaposition between the two and then come out of that and then link that to individualism, that makes sense, wouldn't it?
What would you say? Talk about the short sentences and this inspiration.
Okay, yeah, well maybe start with that then. Okay, so we're going to start, I'm going to amend this, I'm going to talk about the short sentences just as a general point. Then I'm going to talk about the actual animalistic lexis, then I'm going to talk about the juxtaposition. Do I need to write down everything I'm going to say?
No.
No, because I know I'm going to say in order because it's all on here. All I'm going to do is there. I can say, look, it shows his fear. We've got furiously, we've got panic, right? All these things are highlighted and I'm just going to pick them out of the text when I'm talking, all right? I'm not going to write myself a speech. I ain't got time to do that, all right? So we're going to talk about lexis, we're going to talk about juxtaposition. Also there, I missed a point out, so I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put semantic fields. Then I'm going to talk about the juxtaposition, then come across that he's lost himself. That's a nice link, thank you. That's going to take me in nicely. Now, have I made the link there? How am I going to link to that?
Instinct.
Instinct, okay, so this is the instinct, isn't it? So, when we've lost individualism, okay, we need to make it link back to state wins over Winston. So how are we going to do that?
Like maybe, like it's not moral anymore, like the decision he takes, like he doesn't,
Exactly.
doesn't think it over.
What did he say about, why is this such a betrayal? What did he say to Julia?
Only
If you
when,
won't betray her.
yeah, like
No,
they
you'll-
can't
They
change
can't get into your
how
head. The
we
terrifying thing about 1984 is that they can, they will, and they do. Right? That's what's really, really scary about it. So here, I'm going to link back to show my knowledge of the general text, as well as the themes, link back to what was said to Julia. I'm not going to spend forever on that, but it's a nice link, and it supports my argument. This is why it's the ultimate betrayal. This is why the state wins over Winston. Right then, so then what have I got then, right? We're going to go back to the instinct thing because I like that link, so I'm going to link that down there again. And then I'm going to start talking about the how quick the decision is made. Done that. What have I got? Else have I got? I've got to stop do it to Julia thing. Now, do you think that is a good place to mention that before how quickly the decision is made? I think it is because it already ties into what he said to Julia before. So I'm going to go to that. So I'm going to look at the quote, or the speech, and then I'm going to go to how quickly the decision. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to move back up here like that. I've got the parts that I want to underline, then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to analyse the quote. So I'm going to analyse the quotation, then I've got to go to the ultimate state power. I'm going to say the only person in control here is OB. After O'Brien, I'm going to talk about him being godlike. Then I'm going to cut back to him being the teacher and analyse. Then I'm going to go into relief, and then I'm going to do a conclusion. My conclusion is just going to link this idea of relief to, and I've got a nice little point here I'm going to finish with, off the top of the head. We feel relief, we feel almost that maybe Winston did the right thing, therefore the state wins control over us as readers. That's a nice little link, right? So, link to idea of relief to state giving or gaining power over us as readers. That's my little conclusion, okay, that I'm going to finish with. All right, so we are complicit, the idea of complicity. Right then, so I had to go a bit quick there at the end. How are we doing for time? I think I've done.
You have like 10 seconds.
Okay, right, so I've done all right for time. Right then, so the point being is that now I have my plan. I have my annotated sheet. And that's what I've been doing while I've been explaining and talking to you. So in an exam, you should be able to do even more analysis than that. Thank you. Right then, so what we're going to do is, everything now in my speech now is sorted. So, hello, candidate number. And all I'm doing is reading off my sheet. I'm going to start up here, right? This is from 1984, it's from part 3, right? This is why this is an important scene, because this is where he's broken. I'm then going to go on to, this is something that Orwell's concerned about. This is a really, really essential part of the novel, because this is about the, this is where totalitarianism wins. This is where the state wins. Right? This serves as a warning. I'm going to link it to context and talk about that. That's going to take me about a minute. I'm going to say, essentially, for me, this scene, this extract, really is about the state winning over Winston. It's about control. It's about the loss of individualism.
Can you actually say for me, like I believe?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't prove it like for a scientific method. So I think it is an interpretation, right? So, this is because it's your interpretation that you're arguing for, isn't it? Right? It's your understanding of it. Okay. Then you're going to say, I'm going to analyse this through 3 sections. The first section I'm going to look at is the use of fear or terror in the extract. The second one I'm going to look at is individualism or the betrayal of individualism, the loss of individualism, and finally how the ultimate power of the state is really concretised in this scene. Then I'm going to start with, okay, the first thing I'd like to talk about is where the state controls Winston, is about the use of fear of social control. If we look at the extract, we go into the initial impact of the short sentences, immediately puts on an edge, blah, 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 blah. And as I go through and start reading through these, I'm just going to tick them off. Tick them off as I go. How easy is this? All I'm doing is reading the plan in front of me, going through all that. Right? Then I've gone through, and in the end, in effect now, he's become completely instinctual. Right? And there's a consequence to that. The consequence to that is that he's no longer able to make rational moral decisions. Okay? That moral decisions require certain things, and one of those things that requires the ability to choose, the ability to say 2 + 2 = 4. Wherever I pulled that from, don't know, just off the top of my dome, right? That's something I've thought as I'm talking, so I'm throwing it in. Freestyling, right? So, I'm going to say, and earlier on in the novel, he says to Julia that as long as they don't betray what's inside them, how they feel, then there is no real betrayal. And of course, this is the terrifying thing, is that the state is able to get to that point and make the ultimate betrayal. So if you look at the extract, and I'm going to go through that, so I'm going to tick, tick, tick. And then finally I'm going to talk about the godlike character of O'Brien. He's both a teacher and a god. Some lovely, lovely language analysis here. The idea of space, and the gulf between the stars. He's away, he's removed, both psychologically from the place where he is, but also from himself. He's become essentially soulless. But the only thing that there is to replace that soul, the only communication he can have, the godlike figure of O'Brien. Then we've got to talk about O'Brien still standing at his side, he's never going to go anywhere. And then finally we're going to talk about the power of the state there, how that really sort of shows O'Brien to be a powerful character. Finally bringing it back to the relief we feel, and that somehow there Orwell orchestrates this text to show that there is some form of victory for the state over the reader, because we feel relieved, rather than feel, you've sold out, Winston. The way it's written is that and click shut and not open. Okay, that's my interpretation. Someone else might argue with that and just say that sort of sentence is very powerful and sort of shocking, because what it does is it says he's finally betrayed himself. So we might be critical of Winston. You might have a different interpretation to me. That's my personal conclusion. All right. I felt relief when I read that, and I shouldn't do. Right. I should be condemning Winston for what he's done, as a person who believes in liberty and free will and against totalitarianism. But I'm actually happy that he's acquiesced and saved his life. So I've lost my own integrity there as a person just through the act of reading. All right. So
that's a bit dramatic.
It's dramatic, but they love that stuff. Those literature guys love that stuff. All right. So that's it. But look how easy is that. I've got my points here, my annotations. I've got my plan here, and as I go through, I take everything off, and then anything we may have skimmed over or missed, Miss Ringshaw and myself are going to say, "Oh, can you tell us a bit more about that? That metaphor, but a bit more about why you think that animalistic tone is developed, that used there. I like the idea about you finding a point. You think that's true, etc., etc." All right. You've got to work quick, but that's what you need to be producing. Does that give you a good idea of what we're doing?
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah? Easy, innit? Yeah. Cheers, guys. So that's all we're doing. So that's what you need to create. Your plan shouldn't look any more complicated than those bullet points. All right? Just to remind you, to prompt you what to talk about in what order. All right? And link your ideas together. Everyone happy?
Yes.
All right, that's it. That's easy.